Hello everybody and welcome to the opening practice session for the NRSL Dr. Pepper Cup Series, coming to you from the Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. And this will probably be the only time I will ever do a practice session, and what I'm going to do is just run through the field of who's in what car and just give you a little preview of what I think is going to happen. First car already took to the track. That is the 39 of Keith Batson. Interesting story about this car. This is really the only custom car in the field. Keith painted it himself right there, the number 39 Cheetos Thunderbird. A good looking car too. See. First lap for Keith Batson here. Keith Batson, a veteran of the Castrol GTX Cup Series, and has some experience here in the NRSL over in the Universal Orlando Cup Series on Dylan Young's channel. Car's already taken time. You see the one car on top of the speed charts right now. That's really early. There's 3 going to the top. 49.84 the first lap for Batson. Up ahead of him, the 24 of Charles Sanford, man who runs the NRSL Coke Vanilla Cup Series, Reebok Truck Series, and Hooters Series. Driving the iconic number 24 DuPont Chevrolet that Jeff Gordon ran in 1993. Charles has some success here at Daytona. The 2-time Daytona 500 winner, to my knowledge, once over in the NRSL Snickers Cup Series back in season 7. And he also won the Daytona 500 in the NRSL Coke Vanilla Cup Series this season, and which was an upset win. He drove an underfunded car to victory in that race. So, see what he can do in this Daytona 500 and in this series. Here's the number 7 of Dylan Thoreau. Dylan Thoreau, a veteran of many NR 2003 series, but I'm not really sure of what all he's accomplished. But driving the number 7 Xerox Ford for Alan Kowicki. We'll see what he can do this season. The iconic number 43 STP Pontiac, that is Matt McIntyre. McIntyre, a lot of experience over in the NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. You're making... Don't know if this will be his NRSL debut or not, but he will have that car in this series, so we'll see what he can do with it. Zach Rogers, the number 51 Mellow Yellow Chevrolet, one of the Days of Thunder cars you will see this season. You also have the Exxon colors in other races this season. We'll see what he can do with it. '18 is J.D. Burkhart, one of 3 females in the field, I believe. Haven't heard this name in many in our 2003 series, but an interesting story about the 18 car. About half the season will be fielded under Joe Gibbs Racing. The other races will have the number 18 Hardy Chevrolet, another Days of Thunder car. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen with this car and how J.D. Burkhart will do. Number 5, this is John Arndt and the Tide Chevrolet. We will also see Levi Garrett on that car throughout the season as well, out of the Hendrick Motorsports stable. John Arndt had some has had some success over in the NNSCRA Oreo Truck Series, and also won the Royal Rumble in the NNSCRA a couple months back. So he's had some success in NR 2003. We'll see what happens in this series. Big group of cars right here. There's the number 90, Alex Wheeler, the Highlight Meyer Ford. I'm not real familiar with this name. I've never heard it in any NR 2003 series, but we'll see how he will do in this series, driving for Junie Dunlevy. William Brock, another name I'm not too familiar with. I mean, I've heard it in other series, but I'm not real familiar with the with what all he's accomplished. Driving the number 4, Morgan McClure Chevrolet, the Kodak Chevrolet, which historically has been strong on the super speedways, so we'll see if that can translate into success here at Daytona. 14, Joey Newell, a rookie when it comes to NR 2003. Interested to see what he can do, driving the number 14. And being a big Tony Stewart fan, not a surprise to see him in the 14, in the Kellogg Chevrolet. And having no experience in NR 2003, we'll see what he can do this season. Be real interesting to see. The number 25, Jonathan Zorline, veteran of many NR 2003 series, but again, I'm not real familiar with what all he's accomplished. But he has the 25 for Hendrick Motorsports, which a team you always expect to be strong, so we'll see what happens this season. 44, that is Warren Keith, one of Kyle Keith's entries. 44 out of Petty Enterprises, the 1993 STP Pontiac. Car that Rick Wilson drove that year, replacing Richard Petty. They changed the number to 44 from 43 that season. And happy to have it in this series. We'll see what happens here with that car. Should be interesting to watch. Carson Gum in the number 85 Burger King Ford. Has a lot of experience over in the NNSCRA, currently running in the Walmart Cup Series. And we'll see how Carson can do this season. Right here driving that 85 Burger King Ford. J.J. Kelly, another name I'm not familiar with. Have not heard that name in any NR 2003 series, so could be making his debut. But he's driving for the Wood Brothers, the number 21 Citgo Ford, so got a good team for him. And we'll see what happens this season. Here's Jeff Arndt. He is related to John Arndt. I'm not sure how though. And I've heard that name in other NR 2003 series. Not familiar with the success though. We'll see what happens here. Driving another Kellogg Chevrolet out of Larry Hedrick. If I can get to it, there we go. DJ Curtis, driving the number 1 Skoal. I believe that's an Oldsmobile. Car that Rick Mast drove in 1991. DJ Curtis, another NR 2003 veteran, a lot of experience. So we'll see what he can do this season. And you got the number 22, JT Bryant. Here driving the 22 for Junior Johnson. Maxwell House Ford, 1993 body style there. Another NR 2003 veteran. Got a lot of veterans in the field here. We also have some rookies, so a good mix of veteran and rookie drivers should make for an interesting season. Three wide here. There's DJ Harris. Name I'm not familiar with here. Driving the number 68 Country Time Lemonade Ford. Another one of those somebody I'm not real familiar with. Like I said, we'll see what he can do in the 68 this season. James Qualls in the 26 Quaker State Buick, an NR 2003 veteran, the man who runs the Castrol GTX Cup Series, so he has a lot of experience with these cars. This is one of his favorite paint schemes, so that's why he selected it, and good to have him in this series, and we'll see how he can do this season. Currently leading this pack is the 17 of Emmanuel Hartnett. Interesting story about the 17. Half of the season it'll be fielded out of Hendrick Motorsports like it is this weekend with the Tide Chevrolet, and it'll also have the Western Auto colors, and that'll be fielded out of Darrell Waltrip Racing. So interesting to see what happens with that team this season. Looking back here, here's Kyle Keith, an NRSL veteran. A lot of experience over in Dylan Young's series. And he's the one who painted this awesome logo you will see at the beginning of the video. So big thank you to him. He's driving the number 11 Budweiser Ford for Junior Johnson, so it should be interesting to see how he'll do this season. 16 Parker Gordon, another name I'm not familiar with, driving the number 16 Keystone Ford. So we'll be interesting to see how he'll do this season. Looking underneath the 30 car, that is Sam Young, another. This year, I believe that is the brother of Dylan Young. I've heard that name in several series here. He's had some success, so we'll see what he can do this season. Number 34, another one of the Days of Thunder cars. So that is Daniel Link, another total rookie when it comes to NR 2003. Running by himself here, only 41st quickest. Looks like he hasn't been out in the draft yet. So we'll see what he can do this season here at in the 34. Number 94, that is Andrew Rich, driving the Sunoco Chevrolet, I believe. It's a name I've heard in some NR 2003 series, but I don't really know all that he's accomplished. But we'll see what he'll do this season as well. And we got the 42 Mellow Yellow Pontiac, that is Kyle Matthews. Not a surprise to see him in that car. NR 2003 veteran. He's actually had some success at Daytona, a two-time Daytona 500 winner. Once in the NSCRA Walmart Cup Series, the other one in the NASCAR Wrangler Cup Series. So he knows how to get around these super speedways, and we'll see what he can do. And of course, in the 2 car, you've got the NRSL president, Dylan Young. Big name in NR 2003, one of the veterans. He's had a lot of success with that number 2 car, so we'll see if we can see what he can do this season. Got the 71 of Joshua Sueli, I believe that's how you say it, which I'm probably butchering the name, and if I am, I do apologize. And the 71 for Dave Marcus, looking for funding for this season. He'll have have another sponsor on the car. I cannot think. I believe the Coast Guard. Yeah, United States Coast Guard will be on that car for some races this season, and we'll see what he can do. 28 car, that is Jessica Shelton. When I said Keith Batson had the only custom car in the field, that actually is a custom car that he painted. Here, the 1994 colors on the 28 car this week. She'll have multiple paint schemes throughout the season. And Jessica's been very successful in NR 2003, the very last champion of the Snickers Cup Series, to go along with a couple of championships over in the Castrol GTX Cup Series, and she was the inaugural champion in the Walmart Cup Series. So Jessica's had a lot of success. Should be one of the favorites heading into this season, so we'll see what happens with her. Speaking of the Walmart Cup Series, there's the man who runs it, number 12 of Levi McIntyre, driving for Bobby Allison Motorsports. We'll see what Levi can do, another NR 2003 veteran. 75, that is Johnny Gardner, former champion, another former champion over in the Castrol GTX Cup Series, driving the number 75 Factory Stores of America Ford. So we'll see what Johnny can do this season. Number 46, another Days of Thunder car, that is Joshua Osborne, the Superflow Oil Chevrolet. Here, Osborne, a veteran of the Castrol GTX Cup Series, so he has a lot of experience with this style of car. He's actually a former champion in that series. So we'll see what he can do. As we're getting down to it here, practice almost complete here. There's Michael Norman and the number 3 Goodwrench colors. a car that you would expect to see up front here at Daytona. He's had a lot of experience at the super speedways, so we'll see what he can do this season. Caitlin Song, another name I'm not familiar with. She'll be in the 31 this season. We'll see what happens. And there's Seth Cole, the president of the NNSCRA, in his familiar number 52. We'll see what he can do. See what he can do this season as well. You got the 10 of Jean Sanford. She is the younger sister of Charles Sanford. You've seen her name throughout multiple NR 2003 series, driving the number 10 for Whitcomb Racing. So we'll see what happens for her this season. And I think we've about covered everybody. Just looking at the rest of the field here, as practice is coming to an end here. There's the 8 of Ace Rogers, the son of Zach Rogers. And practice is complete. So take a look at the speed chart. Ash Curtis on top in 33. We didn't get to talk about him. Fortunately, he's driving the number 33 Skull Bandit Chevrolet. I believe that's a Chevrolet. So up to the rest of the field here, you can find out where you're at. There's Nathan Hudson, another name we didn't get to talk about. Unfortunately, he was 7th fastest on the chart. Or Tristan Wilhoit, driving for Bud Moore. He was 15th quickest. And as you look through the rest of the field here, Austin LaPlante in the 88, another name we didn't get to talk about, driving the Buddy Baker car. Looking through the rest of the field, how you did on the speed charts here, all the way down to Daniel Link, who was 42nd out of 42 cars. Well, next up on the agenda will be the Daytona 500, so be sure to tune in for that. Until then, I will see you guys later.